So without further ado, I will start my sharing on the Myanmar story of nurturing kindness by saving a handful of rice a day. I will talk about the ripple effect of the rice canister. Actually, I believe most of us are quite familiar with the story of rice canister, and on Wednesday, Master also mentioned about it. But today we'll delve a little bit deeper into the story. Actually, I have this information thanks to the opportunity to serve Myanmar, and it is quite inspiring to see how Master's teaching bring hope to so many poor folks in the country. In this pandemic, where globally there is a lot of frustration and desperation due to lockdowns, it is nice to see how Tzu Chi volunteers provide relief to the hospitals and the needy people. But I find it very awesome that Myanmar volunteers not only provide relief, but they actually manage to recruit many more bodhisattvas, especially in this time of pandemic and restrictions. So how did they do? From April to July, Myanmar Tzu Chi office worked hard. Myanmar Tzu Chi office they work hard on COVID-19 relief projects by distributing rice and cooking oils to poor families affected by the lockdowns. After distribution, they would return to the villages where lockdown is not so tight in order to see if the villagers are doing all right, and also to create a cycle of kindness. And they do this because they cherish the affinity with Tzu Chi in Myanmar. So they would want to make sure the Tzu Chi values, Master's teaching, is conveyed to the villagers. So on top of the aid distribution, they would never forget to guide the poor to do good and to share about the spirit of bamboo coin bank and rice canister. So talking about the affinity of Tzu Chi in Myanmar, we must never forget that year, the year 2008, in which two large natural disasters strikes Myanmar and then Sichuan with only 10 days apart. Tzu Chi volunteers at that time, the Tzu Chi volunteers from mainland China, Taiwan, Malaysia, and Thailand were busy with disaster relief response in these two countries. And Master worried about how the surviving victims deal with the aftermath of the disasters. And not only the victims, Master actually also worried about the growing bad karma accumulated by all sentient beings in this world. I think it's a year that left a quite deep impression in many Tzu Chi volunteers. So the tidal wave brought by Cyclone Najis caused a widespread destruction and claims the life of about 130,000 people. So our brothers and sisters in Myanmar have this saying that Myanmar's affinity with Tzu Chi is indebted to the 130,000 lives lost. Moreover, it wasn't easy for Tzu Chi to enter Myanmar at that time because the military government was not willing to accept foreign assistance after the disaster. So, leaving many to face a severe shortage of food and water, so much so that the people have no choice but to drink from the flood water with floating corpses. So that's such a great suffering they are in. And then, thanks to Shangren's guidance, Tzu Chi volunteers raise funds and inspire love around the world. And with the prayers and blessings from all around the world, our disaster survey team, our disaster response team, relief team, finally managed to gain the trust of the Myanmar government to conduct disaster relief projects such as distributing rice seeds, or repairing schools, etc. And As per the Innumerable Meaning Sutra, after relieving the sufferings, the Bodhisattva guides sentient beings with Dharma. So, Brother Utin Ton, having received the rice seeds from Tzu Chi and heard about the story of bamboo coin bank, he believes, although he is poor, that he still can practice giving every day. So he started saving a handful of rice every day in a container. His spirit of giving and his story of transformation is quite well known among the locals in his hometown. He not only do good on his own, he also encouraged other people to do good. So for the past many years, he has been sharing about Tzu Chi from one village to another. And in order to let more people know about Tzu Chi, he even let Tzu Chi use his home as a Tzu Chi community center so that his village folks can gather and listen to Master's sermon. And then many village folks saw him appear in Thai TV and they couldn't wait to take photo with him. So these fans of him were gradually influenced by his good deeds. So the practice of saving a handful of rice a day eventually became a common practice in his village and beyond to other villages, towns, and regions. Till nowadays, the ripples of kindness continue to spread out. So in this current pandemic, many villagers' livelihood were affected and they received Tzu Chi help. They feel very touched and decide to save a handful of rice a day to help more needy people. They are more than willing to save a handful of rice before cooking their meals because practicing such kindness bit by bit every day doesn't affect their lives. And among these villagers, we came across two families that show exceptional resilience and the best of humanity, or Buddha nature, as we learn from Master's teaching. Okay, the first case is Wu Ye Tuang, who suffers from polio. It is actually not easy for him to move his limbs freely. It's very challenging for him to grasp a handful of rice from the rice pot to the rice canister. But he takes Master's teaching very deeply into his heart. And with sheer willpower, he grabs a handful of rice. But he feels a bit sorry, like a bit paiseh, because he said the strength of his hand is only this much. He can only grab a spoonful of rice. And we'll see how our volunteers share with him the wisdom of Shangren. So our volunteers tell him that the strength of his hand shall flow into the ocean of merit and become as great as Mount Sumeru. That is truly words of empowerment to him, I think, because it encouraged him not to underestimate his potential and that everyone's small contribution matters. And I believe the strength of his hand can inspire many people to do good. So we have normal bodies, so we should make good use of our body to contribute more to the society. So the strength of his hand is very great indeed. Don't we agree? And then the second case is a family of two, a young girl and a mother. So 5 months ago, the mother accidentally injured herself, and until now, she still remains incapacitated. So the family can only rely on the 12-year-old daughter to do house chores and also to do some casual works nearby to earn about 10 to 20 Taiwan dollar a day, which is very little. So the young girl sometimes have to go to the farm to pick the water spinach and sell the vegetable in the market. But not only does she have to go to the market to sell water spinach, she also have to prepare meal after returning home. So this very young breadwinner demonstrates great filial piety, such a very caring daughter. Having received rice from Tzu Chi and heard about the practice of saving rice, she started saving rice every day before preparing meal. So in an interview, this girl told us she heard from the adults about this practice of saving rice every day, and that this practice can help other needy people like her. So she will maintain this practice. She will also share about this practice with her friends and encourage them to do the same in order to thank Venerable Master Cheng for donating rice to the villagers. It's actually quite heartbreaking to see such a good girl living in such difficult environment. But the thing is, she doesn't complain. And not only that, she even takes good care of her mother. And then furthermore, she thinks of helping others, and she takes it even a step further than perhaps many of us. She encourages people to do good. So I really salute this girl for being able to encourage people to do good while life is so difficult for her. So besides these two families, there are still many families that adopt the practice of saving rice every day. And I believe there are still many more touching stories for us to discover. So in one village, we distributed rice and cooking oil to 711 families, but surprisingly, we received 700 rice canisters. The volunteers couldn't do all the collections within one day and had to return to the village the next day to collect all the rice canisters. So in this pandemic, each aid recipient received a rice canister, and then the surprising thing is that we find that even those not on the distribution name list, they also want to practice this saving a handful of rice a day. But how do they do it without rice canister? Well, they save rice in their own container and plastic bags. And then on the rice canister collection day, those not able to be present due to their work, they ask their neighbors to help bring their rice canister to the collection point. So we can see, no matter how, they just don't want to miss the opportunity to donate their rice. And overall statistics, in this pandemic, our Myanmar brothers and sisters have managed to recruit almost 6,000 households to adopt the rice canister. So currently we have about 7,800 rice canister households. That's more than a 300% increase in just 3 months. Previously, before the pandemic, the amount of rice collected per month is around 3,000 kilograms. So that's why Shangren used to say one handful of rice can amount to 3,000 plus kilograms. But now it has increased to almost 13,000 kilograms. Yeah. And this 13,000 kilograms, it can help 270 more families, with each family receiving 48 kilograms of rice. So that's a lot. So some more reflections from the story of Myanmar practice in saving handful of rice per day. Some people may say it shouldn't be difficult for the villagers to save rice compared to saving money. I would say yes and no. It is not difficult. Yes, it is not difficult for them to save rice every day because they have learned the spirit of bamboo coin bank. So they save a handful of rice every day. They just eat a little bit less every day, and that doesn't affect their life. But the difficult thing is actually rice is very valuable to them, even to the extent of rice is actually a luxury to them. especially in that kind of poverty. And they think the rice Tzu Chi give them is actually of very excellent quality. So some of them actually they don't feel like they feel like keeping the rice for longer time, and they eat actually very little. So for them to be able to give even a handful of rice is actually not very easy. And I have a story of my own to tell. I remember when the member Tzu Chi brother and sister were deciding how much rice to give, they decide to give 48 kilogram of rice per month in this pandemic. And then I think 48 kilogram per month sounds a lot. How would a family of 4 or 5 be able to eat so many rice in just 1 month? So the brother and sister there told me, no, they say actually they don't have much food to eat. They can only eat rice. They don't have many dishes like us in Taiwan or Malaysia or in other parts of the world, where we eat less rice and eat more of the dishes. But in Myanmar, they don't have all this luxury. So then I realized, I actually lack the empathy and compassion that Master always talk about. Master never traveled out of Taiwan, yet she can feel the sufferings of the poor people around the world. But I actually know that the people there is quite poor, but I don't seem to turn this knowledge into the wisdom or into something deeper. In Chinese, we say 转世成智. So I only have this knowledge, but I cannot feel their suffering. So actually, I'm quite ashamed to have asked this question. So we can see just how poor they are, and it is not easy for them to be able to give the rice. Okay, and then another thing is a little act of kindness done with a sincere mind has a lasting impact. And when done together, it has the power to transform the society. So in this practice of saving rice, what I can see is the sincerity of the villagers. They do it every day, and so it is quite touching to see them doing this and inspire us to do the same. Although maybe in the more affluent society, saving rice, the value of saving rice is not that much, but it actually inspires us to contribute more to the society. So the important part in this slide is the sincerity, and we have to ask more people to do good together. So it's not only about saving or giving. It's also about promoting vegetarianism, which is what Master is emphasizing nowadays to help fight climate change. So we have to get more people to go vegetarian together, so that we can stop climate change and heal the earth. So it's the same for Buddha teaching. So the accumulation of words and verses will become a sutra, and the accumulation of kind thoughts and actions will lead us to Buddhahood. Okay. So this is the very basic or the basis of Tzu Chi. So Tzu Chi started from 50 cents a day, if we know the story right. From 30 housewives, each saving 50 cents a day, and then from this very humble beginning, we developed into international NGO. Okay. So we must remember this, take this spirit to our heart, so that Tzu Chi can continue on for many years, forever. Yeah, and so I think I should conclude my sharing. So the Myanmar Tzu Chi, they have come to this development from Brother Udintun, and then to now we have more than 7,000 households. They are practicing this saving a rice a day, saving a handful of rice a day. So it actually starts from the ripple of kindness from all over the world to Myanmar in 2008. At that time, we have the blessings, we have the prayers, we have the kindness from the brothers and sisters all over the world into Myanmar. And then nowadays, the ripple of kindness actually radiate from Myanmar to all over the world, because even though they are not able to help us materially, but actually their practice, their sincerity is very touching, and continue to inspire people from all around the world. So I must thank the Myanmar Tzu Chi brother and sister for their hard work, for putting so much effort in guiding the people there with Dharma to do good, to sow blessings in the country. Despite the difficulties, despite the many challenges in Myanmar, for example, the very tight control by the government, or the lack of resources, or even the barrier of languages, but they abide in their vows to purify the Buddha land, literally, because Myanmar is a land where it's a nation where the majority is Buddhist. So I believe that Tzu Chi affinity in Myanmar will last forever, will last for many years, and I believe the ripple of kindness generated from this rice canister in Myanmar can actually be a transforming power that transform the poverty in Myanmar to and we all, I mean let's pray that Myanmar will be an affluent nation one day, right? With utmost gratitude, 感恩. So maybe you can pass the mic to whoever share the next person to share.
Utmost gratitude, Brother JingQuan, for your wonderful sharing of this Myanmar. Indeed, it is very powerful and uplifting to us, and it comes at the right time too, because at the moment I'm sure in many countries everyone is still very busy with the relief work. At the same time, everyone also needs the concerted effort of people kindness, because with the money in, then we could buy the goods and help people in suffering.感恩 Brother JingQuan, very touching sharings indeed. These droplets of kindness from everyone, the grains of rice resonate closely also with Master's Take today. The droplets of water will form the mighty ocean. Today, very Brother JingQuan. Today we are very humble and very blessed, honored to have Sister Kwee lan to share with us. Sister Kwee lan, she's very committed in various missions, not only in education, in community, and recently more so in entrepreneur side, helping to promote vegetarians among the corporate. Very grateful to Sister Kwee lan for agreeing to share with us. We will hear the reason why she declined earlier. Okay, maybe before we pass to Sister Kwee lan, she has often shared about spousal relationship, how to guide children in our community, and many people will flock to her and ask her questions, tips. But for today, we will hear how sisters could join in all these missions because of the Dharma in her heart. Okay, let us hear from Sister Kwee lan. Sister Kwee lan, over to you. 感恩师父。
敬礼上人，金色师父 brother and sister, a very good morning to everyone. And let me share my screen first. And first and foremost, I would like to express thousand appreciation to Sister Tzu Chi for her invitation. In fact, I rejected her invitation for several times due to no confidence to share in English. I'm Chinese educated. Sharing in English actually is a very big challenge for me. Last Sunday, when I started to prepare for this sharing, I found it to be so difficult, especially those Dharma terms. So I texted to Sister Tzu Chi, informed her to get someone to replace me for today's sharing. She replied me on the next morning. I received her message after Xinfa during the transfer of merit. As I prostrate in front of Buddha, I saw her message. She said, "It's okay, sister. You still have time. Maybe, sister, you try. Any English Dharma needs help, let me know. We also look forward, including Brother Joe." I told him sister is sharing. I just do not know why until after I saw her message. I believe I have a very good faith with Sister Tzu Chi. She was my ex-PU classmate. We lost contact for more than 20 years, and I met her again in Tzu Chi. Despite being rejected several times, she is still very patient and keep on inviting me to share. However, I have made a vow in my heart. I thought to myself, I must practice my English. I must plant these good seeds into my consciousness so that I can share Dharma in English in my next life. But unbelievable, my vow is realized in this life. Master always say that when there is a vow, there is a strength. And today, I would like to share with you how Dharma transformed my life. I got to know Tzu Chi in year 2013 much because of parent-child bonding class. 2 months later, I joined the Great Love Mom class. In the class, I met one of my friends whom I have not met for more than 20 years. She asked me whether I can accompany her to go Hualien. I agreed immediately without thinking further. But few days later, I regretted because I'm still not a Tzu Chi volunteer. I can't see any reason why I should go to Hualien. So I was thinking to ask her whether she has enrolled for the camp. If not, then I will tell her I don't want to go. But unfortunately, she told me she has enrolled. So I just keep silent because I know she enrolled because I agreed to go with her. So I told myself, I have to fulfill my promise. However, last minute, she didn't go. So on June 2013, I was joined the camp conducted by education team for first time. There were a lot of touching and cheering moments during this camp in Hualien. The feeling was just like a kid who lost the parents for several years and finally go home and meet our parents, sister, and brother. The most valuable asset I received during this camp was to know wisdom at dawn, Xinfa Xiang. After back from the camp, I started to listen to Master Dharma. When I listened to wisdom at dawn for first time, I felt very joyful. That time, I can't understand why I have never listened to such a good Dharma in my life before I met Tzu Chi. 2 months after I started to listen Master Dharma, I traveled to Cambodia for a business trip. And these two gentlemen are local ministers. And it is very normal when ministers travel, there will be entourage of followers and reporters. After this group of visitors left, I found my handbag stolen and my passport and money all gone. I was so shocked and nervous. How am I going back to Malaysia? But such anxiety gone after a few seconds later, when I realized that all those stolen and lost are the external belonging, but there is one invisible asset which is stored in my mind, which cannot be stolen. It's the Dharma from morning wisdom at dawn. That was the first time I tried to apply Master Dharma in critical situation. The Dharma that I apply has transformed my mind. I thought to myself, the person who stole my money, maybe he is in financial difficulty. He took my money, maybe he can buy some good food for his family. When this thought came to my mind, my anxiety, fear, and worries suddenly disappeared, and I feel so joyful. That was the first time in my life I realized how powerful our Master Dharma. After I came back from Cambodia, I continue listen to this visit at dawn. In order to know more about Tzu Chi, 1 month after I came back from Cambodia, I joined the entrepreneur camp in October. In year 2014, I joined TNC, and in year 2015, I joined Peishin, and in year 2015 year end, I joined the commissioning ceremony. Now, I'd like to share with you another story which happened to me that once again which proved how powerful Master Dharma is. On 19 July 2015 is a very important day in my life. I went for massage. About 15 minutes later, my chest felt so pain. I thought I had heart attack. I thought I would die. I know what has happened because I participated in the water repentance 2 weeks before this incident. The story of Dharma Master U Ta is still very fresh. I know my karmic debtor came to sit for me. During that moment, I didn't think about my children, my husband, or even my parents. The only thought I had was, I still have not contributed enough in Tzu Chi, and I was not yet a commissioner. So I started to negotiate with my karmic debtor. I communicate with them, not take away my life now. I will contribute more in Tzu Chi and transfer all merit to them. After the negotiation, I fainted. And finally, I woke up 3 hours later. I was admitted to hospital. One specialist has done an x-ray and told me my lung looked so strange. My right lung looked half, and doctor told me in normal practice, if patient lung show this scenario, patient cannot walk and talk, must rely on oxygen tank. But I was lucky, I could talk and walk. And one specialist could not tell what was my actual problem. So he referred my case to a lung specialist. Based on this X-ray, lung specialist said maybe due to 2 reasons, is either hydrothorax, 肺积水, or hemothorax, 肺积血. And finally, it was proven this is a hemothorax. And 3 days later, doctor came and see me and told me one good news and one bad news. Initially, doctor suspected my symptom may be due to cancer. And the good news was I'm free from cancer. But the bad news was the burst blood vessel did not heal. Doctor said in normal practice, the burst blood vessel can heal naturally. So doctor advised me to change to another hospital for operation. That was the first time in my life that I was in an ambulance. Do you see I was very comfortable? And do you know why I took this picture? Because I know already on 8th of August 2020, I will be invited by English group to do sharing here. And I know I must show you the pictures to prove to you how peaceful I am. So do you know why I was on my way to another hospital for a major operation and yet I could still look joyful? I will share the reason later. When I was ready to be sent to the operation room, suddenly doctor came and talked to me very seriously. He said, your insurance company rejected your claim. Because of this reason, doctor refused to do operation for me. And doctor handed over my case to his finance department personnel to discuss with me about the payment. They made sure they received the payment before they could send me to the operation room. And the picture show was the doctor mentioned. And luckily, after settled the payment, he conducted the operation for me. The reason my claim was rejected by insurance company was because the disease is congenital. My disease is known as congenital arteriovenous malformation and normally named as AVM, and in Chinese called 先天性动静脉畸形. Based on the CT scan, my lung have 10 vessels at the age of bursting. And these 10 blood vessels in my lung naturally grow up without microvascular. 我的肺部先天性就是有10条的血管，是没有这一个微血管的。So I would like to describe to you some scenes after I pushed into the operating room. The temperatures inside was so cold and I was shivering. I asked the nurse to take additional blanket for me. But after 5 blankets, I was still very cold. This scene reminded me of the Earth Storm Bodhisattva Sutra. The people who were tortured in hell were either very hot or very cold. So my feeling at the time was so true. I was tortured in hell on earth. This picture was taken in ICU after I woke up the next day after the operation. I asked my home brother faster to take a photo for me. Can you see I show the happy V side? Once again, I want to prove to everyone, when our heart is with Dharma, we can really feel the joy even in the ICU room. 1 week later, my lung breathing again. I was admitted to hospital again. I purposely took another picture just to prove to everyone I was still very peaceful. I told myself that the second torture which I had to suffer may be due to future life coming back. But because I had accumulated a little bit of blessing in Tzu Chi, so I'm allowed to pay my debt in this life. According to doctor, this disease is like an instant bomb. Some people will never break out in their life. The doctor also told me that I was lucky because this disease usually occurs in the brain, but mine is actually in the lungs. I have searched for online information, but I could not find a case in the lung. I told myself, because I joined Tzu Chi and participated in water repentance, so I know the causes and effects and was willing to accept it. And Master said the karma we have done in the past was done by ourselves. And if we encounter karma in this life, we have to accept it with joy. Our karma will be discounted. Because of will to accept, the disease will transform from the brain to my lung. Dharma is so important in our life. When we know how to apply Dharma, every challenge in our daily life will be a good lesson. When there is a Dharma in heart, everything that happens is worthy of gratitude. If it hadn't happened in massage parlor, my blood vessel would burst while I was driving. I don't know if I would be killed or hurt others. These 50,000 operation costs also make me deeply realize that, as Master often say, nothing can be brought forward to our next life except karma. There is no such case in my family. It is not a genetic, nor it is caused by diet. There is no scientific theory to explain why the blood vessel in my lungs do not have microvascular. So I paid a lesson fee of 50,000 and understood a truth telling me to practice well and be a good person and must plant a lot of good seeds for my life, for my next life. And this 50,000 also make me understand what is called equality. Human beings always like to look beautiful, don't like ugliness, like tall, don't like short, like being rich, don't like being poor, like being healthy, and don't like being sick. that being old, being sick, and death actually is the nature of law. No one can avoid. I'm also very grateful that the burst blood vessel did not heal. If it heals, I will be discharged from hospital. Without being transferred to another hospital, the doctor would not find out that I was suffering from a congenital disease. In fact, another 9 blood vessels were expanded to about 4 cm, according to doctor. It can burst anytime, at any way. One day, while I wake up and sat on my bed, I cried suddenly and felt so guilty to my body organs, especially my lungs. I think it must have suffered a lot during that time. And other organs too. Because doctor injected a lot of medicine into my body. And I believe my kidneys, my liver also suffer and need to work very hard to detoxify. I cry because I think we often say gratitude in Tzu Chi. But I have never said gratitude to my body since I was born, and they are working for me 24 hours a day, about 50 years. And I never expressed gratefulness to them. So since then, now every day when I wake up or when I sleep, I will express my appreciation and gratitude to my body organ. This disease also made me understand what Master often said, unfavorable condition to contemplate on impermanence, in time of adversity to contemplate on the cause and effect. With the Dharma, we will have solution in life and stay peaceful. To view each incident as good mentor in our life. When patient happy, doctor and nurse will also be happy. During that time, although I was ill, my mind was calm and at ease. I still remember when I was in the hospital, I wrote a very long message about my feelings to the entrepreneur group because I want to share my joy with everyone. After being admitted to hospital, what joy is there to share? I want to share my Dharma joy. Listening to Dharma is just a theory, but when adversity is present, it's a real practice. For the past few years, I did not stop 熏法香. To me, 熏法香 is so good, but unfortunately, there are not many people who are able to attend daily 熏法香in the morning. Since 2018, we have started to encourage brother and sister who are not able to come in weekday, try to come on weekend to Jing Shitang. I take up the challenge to offer myself to be the person to lead the team sharing on weekend. I need to prepare the summary of what Master had shared from Monday to Friday, so I could share with others who could only turn up on weekend. Every Friday night, I started to feel very stressed because there are so many notes for 5 days. How shall I summarize and present in 30 minutes? So it is really a challenge for me. Sometimes, when I do not have enough time, I could simply just write few keywords and share on Saturday. It seems like I have submitted my homework. Actually, I was not mindful enough. I remember that once, one day after sharing, Sister Li Feng told me that, Sister Kwee lan, your sharing is good, but I can't remember. Can you type up what you share? I remember this, but I did not put into action due to my busy schedule. A week later, Sister Tzu Chi contacted me and asked me how to lead weekend sharing on Saturday. At that time, Sister Tzu Chi was also leading the weekend sharing in the English group. I told her that Sister Li Feng suggested that I type up the text, but I didn't have time to do it. After that, these two bodhisattvas formed 2 different groups to help me to do marketing. Sister Tzu Chi responded and suggested me to record the sharing. And she said she wanted to listen too. And I suddenly feel that, this is a very good idea. And since then, my audio recording of Dharma started. After recording, I passed it to Sister Li Feng and Sister Tzu Chi as soon as I finished sharing. And the initial intention of the recording was just passed on to these two sisters. So these two sisters create the cause for me to start the audio recording. After that, these two sisters formed two different groups to help me to do marketing and recruit customers, and began to invite sister and brother to join these two groups to listen to the recording. And later, sister responded that it was recorded once a week, about 30 minutes each time, which was very long, and some people could not finish listening. Because of this suggestion, I started daily recording. It used to be pressure once a week, but now it needs to be recorded every day, and it becomes a daily pressure. And now I will share with you the challenges I faced when I started record every day. Master shared for an hour. I want to summarize the notes into about 10 minutes audio recording. So I have to reorganize my notes. At the beginning, I used handwriting, and it took me an average of 4 hours a day to complete a 10 minutes recording notes. After doing it for a month, I started to feel very stressed. I started asking myself, how long can I take on this task? It takes so long to prepare the summary notes daily. I almost take up most of my time in the office to do these tasks. And sometimes when I am busy with work or I have to undertake other Tzu Chi tasks, I really don't have time to do this recording. And many times I actually thought about giving up. And one day I was chatting with Sister Tzu Chi. She told me one thing, and because of this, I gave up the idea of giving up. After she set up the group, she kept inviting sister and brother to join the group and listen to my sharing. She told me a shocking reason why she kept inviting sister and brother into the group. I want to share with you a little bit about Sister Tzu Chi. She's not only the facilitator of my Dharma audio recording, she is also a great Bodhisattva who influenced me to join Srinpa Xiang. She is an English-educated Bodhisattva. When she first began Srinpa Xiang, she could not read Chinese nor understand Mingnan Hokkien, which Master speaks. But I started Srinpa Xiang, I couldn't understand Hokkien too. Then I feel that I went to Jing's Hall to listen and couldn't understand. It could be better to listen to the Wisdom at Dawn at TV at home. There were once I was curious and asked Sister Tzu Chi, why you can't understand Hokkien, but even if there is a translation in Chinese, you can understand too. Why do you still go to Srinpa Xiang every day? She told me a very touching answer. She said, Master is so old. She can't bear the Master to get up so early, especially on raining day, and nobody listened to her Dharma sharing. Just because of the unbearable thought with the heart of wanting to accompany Master, just sit there for an hour. It doesn't matter, even she don't understand. Then I asked her, when do you start to understand the Hokkien of Master? Infinity is really incredible. She said, when Master shared that, when the Buddha was about to start expounding Lotus Sutra, 5,000 people withdrew. When she heard this message, she kept crying uncontrolled. She didn't know why this happened. When the 5,000 people withdrew, there was a loud voice in her that shouted, don't go, don't go. She told me that she saw a scene when 5,000 people was leaving. A voice in her shouted, don't go, don't go. There was suddenly she understood something. From that moment onwards, she understood Master Hokkien better. I was commissioned same year with Sister Tzu Chi, and during the commissioning ceremony, Master called out for Sister Tzu Chi, and later asked Brother Joe to look for Sister Tzu Chi. Such the affinity in the setup of English Xun Fa Xiang group. So when she knew that I had started recording, she set up a group and sent my daily recording to this group. She made a big vow to find the 5,000 people who had withdrawn. After hearing her vow, I was ashamed because of my thought to give up. So since knowing this big vow from Sister Tzu Chi, I have also made a vow to fulfill her big vow. On 18 June 2020, I was invited to share after afternoon prayer. I share on my Dharma recording affinity and share my vow. And the power of vow is really incredible. After the sharing on 18 June, a lot of Bodhisattva contacted me and asked me how to join my Xun Fa Xiang recording group. And since then, I created a daily grand group to share daily recording of Master Xun Fa Xiang. Within less than 2 months, 766 Bodhisattvas joined the group. For earlier WhatsApp group, there are only about 100 plus listeners accumulated for 2 years since we started the group. And because of these changes, I have shortened the time spent to 1 hour instead of 4 hours. And in addition to the time adjustment, my stress is greatly reduced. Another great motivation is the feedback from the Bodhisattva in the group who listen to my Dharma sharing daily. They will tell me that they are very grateful to have this audio recording because they could not listen to the wisdom at dawn, but at least they can hear some important points to my recording. Some sister and brother from Singapore and Hong Kong also told Sister Tzu Chi that although they attend wisdom at dawn, but they can't really understand Master Hokkien. But as my recording in Chinese, they can do revision and understand better. And there was also a very diligent sister who told me that after listening to Master teaching in the morning, she could still listen to my recording again. She told me during her birthday, she told her husband not buy any birthday present for her. She wanted her husband to listen my Dharma recording. She told her husband this will be the best gift to her. I was so touched by her story. In fact, the great beneficiary is myself. I can be more focused and understand better of Master Dharma sharing during Xun Fa Xiang. Thank you very much for the chances given today to share a little bit of my experience and the power of Dharma. How does it transform my life? And Kan'en sister and brother for your listening, and gratitude to Master for the sermon. Wishing Master best of health, abide in the world for long time, and turning the Dharma view continuously. Utmost gratitude, Kan'en.
Okay, yeah, we'll let Shifu, the Shifu to feedback in Chinese. But Shifu will also
mix together.
Mix together. Try to feedback in English also. So maybe can someone help to translate? Type in English. So
Okay.
Good morning to everyone and Sister Kwee lan and Tzu Chi, Sister Tzu Chi. Thank you so much for coming this Saturday speaking, sharing. 我是德泽 I'm coming from Malaysia. I used to be sharing a little bit last Saturday, and this is my second time as to be 应该说是 the third time for me to have sharing in here. I'm grateful because I have the chance to stay in Hualien together with a lot of master and sangren over here in Taiwan. Thank you so much, Sister Kwee lan, for your speech and for your effort for everything that you've given up. And I'm so grateful that you are still alive, and then you're so bravo, and I feel so touching. And if someone over beside you, I really want to give you a big hug, a warm hug, so that you can feel that our love is still here, and then we all is really taking care and blessing you that your healthy is getting better. And then since you have the audio recording every day, this is a blessing for you as well, because you are 身体力行 and sharing the Dharma 布施. Even though you are in a hard time, but you still have a very strong mindset, and your heart is still sticking together with us and Master, our Master Cheng. And you know that our great love is all over the world, and every day, no matter it's a light day or a nighttime, also the same. Our blessing is still here, and then we hope that your heart is open, and then your mind is open together, and keep learning Dharma, and then keep sharing to everyone. And my sister, my sister's daughter, give you a story that is happening in my family members. My second sister, her daughter just have one daughter. She used to have the same kind of disasters in her body, which is her brain is also the same as you, Qi Xing or sentient Qi Xing. One day, she going to shopping together with her family friends, her friend and family, and then suddenly she found that her brain is 很晕哈 then 不舒服哈 I need to speak in Mandarin OK 然后他的朋友的妈妈就赶快送他去医院哈检查，然后发现说是先天性脑畸形哈，血管畸形，然后赶紧去做的小小的那个及时的应变手术哈。过后细部的检查原来是发现有那个结哈，血管那个结是先天性的，然后就再次动另外一个手术，我不晓得它的费用是多少，我们有确认哈，因为有一段时间哈，然后会非常危险和危机，然后还好他身边有他的朋友的妈妈及时把他带到医院去哈，然后才能够及时救助哈，不然的话我姐姐的孩子就没有了哈。所以在你身边有很多的贵人哦，可以扶持你哦，协助你，帮助你不要忘记这一点然后我们慈济人也永远的祝福你这样，然后因为你的努力哦，我们有爱哦，积善之家哈，必有余庆啊哈，然后大难不死，其实也有后果了哈，因为你看学习到从这个点里面学习到哈，其实就是像我们去感恩户或者是访视个案之类的。都有看到非常多的这样子的个案哦，因为真的是有一颗善的种子哦，就有很千万的善的因缘汇聚起来哈，那个磁场是非常强的。如果你心心念念都在善的方向哈，你的愿力还有定力一定会越来越好，越挫越勇哈。然后我们身边的人还是会不断的彼此互相祝福，互相拉哦，互相提哈，互相抚慰哈。我们有需要一定要讲出来哦。不要只是想说，只是希望给别人看到我们正向美好的一面而已。我们也要让大家看得到，我们在苦难的时候也是很坚强的也脆弱的时候也是很脆弱的。但是我们意念非常的坚定，我们的方向非常的明确。我们要走这个菩萨道是不容易，它一定有考验。我觉得身上有3分病是非常好，能够成就我们的道业，然后继续往前走。我们慈济人永远在身边不要忘记这一点。我曾经做梦也这样子我曾经梦见那个跟你们讲一个小故事，很好笑的就是好像有那个一个黑店 就是专门台人哦，可能以前看戏看太多了，就是那个什么，吃人的哈、那个有那种土著真的是吃人哦，然后他就一个黑店那样子把我抓去了，我很害怕哦，然后他在车上哦，我就一直讲救命啊救命啊，上人啊上人啊，然后慈济人啊师兄师姐啊赶快来救我，然后就出现了慈济人，哇，那个很震撼哦，我历历在目感觉，然后就得救了哈、然后从此我经过那个学校哈，刚好我在马六甲分会嘛，然后那个学校我们曾经就在那边办过最后祝福啊、普通义经之类的经藏演绎然后就在他的小巷旁边那间店像印度店这样应该是印度店就感觉他是在那边真的是梦境嘛但是那个点我经过的时候我都会觉得很害怕这样，但是就想说，这个其实就是一个教育一个启示。因为既有这样子的种种因缘让我们学会更多的。像师姐你中文平时是在学中文，像我以前在读 college 的时候学院的时候我是讲英文的，我来到花莲这边已经8年多了，结果我忘记了我自己会讲英文我真的忘记了，然后我没有这样子创造这样子的因缘讲英文，所以我就渐渐的不知道我自己那个信心不足了我到底怎么讲英文完全都忘光了，所以现在在不断的学习，有因缘的话我就讲英文这样，然后看到菩萨们像我广东话也很少讲了，我是广东人嘛，很少讲，我看到我们的师父或者是师姐会讲广东话，或者是看到静涵我都有时候会抓着他讲广东话这样，然后看到印尼的女佣像我们这里有伊卡、有艾米有微微baby我就会抓着他们来讲马来文他讲印尼文，我讲马来文像马来西亚学罗讲嘛我们全部在一起就合成所以就呈现我们现在的 One Malaysia in many language we use 罗讲什么全部 sekali 我觉得很有趣，这也是学习的一个方式我觉得这样子学习会更有趣然后我现在也在学因为我以前很喜欢语言我也学过日语，然后我有学过韩语是没有上课啦，日语是有上过课去到学校上课去语文学校上过课，然后现在还想要学菲律宾语，因为有认识好几位的菲律宾的同学然后还有在学台湾的那个那个土语学1、2句而已啦蜻蜓点水希望未来能够学得更多，像慈济里面大开方便法门你希望学什么东西都可以，然后要投入在哪一个领域也可以只要你因缘具足的话我们也是可以创造 positive environment。 上一个星期4号师兄讲得非常棒，我觉得受用无穷，然后每一次的听闻听看写然后复习一直 practice 我们总有一天会能够成就，就像是我们希望成就怎么样的人人格培养就是这样子来的，然后每一个人都是很好的种子，所以每一次都要珍惜我们彼此这一个善种子，每个人都是我们学习的一个如来宝藏所以不断的向每一个人都学习，这样我们就会越来越成长所以有机会的话也希望可以听到师姐桂兰师姐的那个 audio recording 希望有这样子的因缘像要分享一下到底是在哪一个，我也很好奇，其实也想学习，师姐也可以讲中文的、英文马来文印度文什么都好一起来学习，一起来努力在法的方面然后感恩也祝福大家法喜充满，每日日欢喜，心生安详感恩，祝福大家。疫情的时候要注意健康口罩也要戴好感恩。
Okay, 感恩 over to you, Sister Tzu Chi.
Yes. Thank you so much.
感恩感恩师父，感恩德子师父，感恩 Brother JingQuan，感恩 Sister 桂兰 ，truly lots of heartfelt and wonderful sharing。很感恩听到吗？听到感恩 brothers and sisters for your presence and continuous support every Saturday. Hope that each of us could sustain the Dharma joy and take in another piece of Dharma Master and Hualien love to our life. Maybe invite the 师父 to lead us in paying homage. 个人是非常棒，很touching，感恩。感恩菩萨。JingQuan师兄，感恩very touching stories about the Myanmar. 感恩。Yeah, over to Brother Robert. There's another session. Too excited. Brother Robert, over to you.
Yeah, okay. Warm welcome to all for joining us today. We are very grateful to Brother Joe Huang and Sister Tzu Chi for initiating this extended session. This symposium sharing will run from 8 to 8:30. Okay, let us continue sharing. So for those who wanted to share, please maybe check, key in your name in the chat group there. I will invite you. So meanwhile, I think we will kickstart today's sharing by inviting our Sister YY. Sister YY, are you able to share with us this morning? Or otherwise, can we invite Sister Kaping to share?
Oh, morning, Brother Robert. Morning, brothers and
Morning.
sisters. Yeah, well, there's a lot today, and I like what the Sifu just said. You know, semua campur jadi rojak-rojak. I hope my sharing won't be like that. You know, when we were commissioned, Master gave us these words, right? 佛心起心, 四字即字. And today she reminded us what Buddha's heart is. And Buddha's heart is in true emptiness with wondrous existence, empty of worries, ignorance, afflictions. And what is left is the wondrous, compassionate, great love, which is limitless, borderless, that can encompass all. Whereas as lay beings, our hearts are like stream or pond water that is being blocked by garbage that cannot flow to find its way to the ocean. So the only solution for us is that we have to, you know, engage, constantly being reminded by Master, engage in learning the Dharma, mindfully learn the Dharma, mindfully take it to heart, and mindfully practice. And Master's concern has always been whether, you know, we, her disciples, are able to grow our wisdom life. So learning the Dharma means that we have to be able to take the principles in relating with one another with true love, practicing He Xin, He Qi, Fu Ai, Xie Li, basically gathering the strength of each other, and no matter how small or how little they are, in order to be a powerful one. When Master talked about recycling, it resonated very well with me that there is so much Dharma in recycling. And I would like to share with you my two experiences. The first one being the very first time when I did recycling, and I remember that was in this a field that is opposite Sunway Giza. I joined Sister Subi and the brothers and sisters around there. And I never knew, you know, there is so much that we consume and we throw out until, you know, I saw this heap full, you know, of recycling. And I came across this family. They drove by and they brought out boxes of shoes. And when I opened them, they were all new. And it really, you know, hit home that you know, we are so wasteful. And I told myself that I have got to learn to refuse. And then the second time, I joined the board of Senviro, which is the licensed industrial and toxic waste management company in Malaysia. I joined the board and I was invited to do a tour in Quality Alam, which is in Bukit Nanas in Negeri Sembilan. When I came to the landfill site, my heart just sank. That was the first time I see a big crater on Earth. And it is really huge, it is deep. And what is stored there are just all these industrial toxic waste. I felt a sharp pain. It's like, you know, we are feeling Mother Earth with all the toxin and all the toxic waste as a result of our desire for material goods. And these are all toxic waste from factories, whether it is from glove, from furniture, for all the manufacturing companies, because they cannot throw it out. What we normally see are the household waste disposal, landfill, but this is toxic waste. And it really hurt when you see such a deep crater on Earth. It's like, you know, and now what I felt is like we continuously creating more and more toxins within us and bearing it in our heart. So clearing the garbage is like clearing the concerns, the worries, the afflictions that have piled up in us so many lifetimes. And the separation of recycling items and putting the discarded items to good use is, to me, it's like entering the masses while observing others' afflictions to realize our blessings. And this is a process of unknotting the hearts to purify and bring peace, stillness, and ease to evoke true love and blessing for all. And I want to emphasize here that it is a process, because our hearts have hardened, and we often use this phrase that hard as stone, right? And over the years, that's what happened to many of us who have, you know, we constantly accumulate so much of garbage in us. And the only way is to nourish it with the Dharma water. And in order to have Dharma water reach the core, it is a process. But once the door to the heart is open, as we can see in so many Tzu Chi volunteers, it is like a sponge absorbing Dharma water, and Dharma water will quench our thirst for wisdom, just like many of us now attending Sun Fa Xiang daily. And that is really the way to unknot our hearts. And once open, the love of compassion will flow unceasingly. So I hope many more people can join us for Sun Fa Xiang. I felt that myself. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, and thank you so much, Sister Kaping, for your wonderful and inspiring sharing. Yeah, always I love to hear from your sharing. Yeah. Continue by inviting Sister Chui Moon to share. Sister Chui Moon, are you with us? Sister Chui Moon? Or otherwise, can we move on to Sister Yvonne? Sister Yvonne?
Morning, all brother and sister. Thank
Morning.
you, Brother Robert.
Morning.
Yeah, I wish to say my kangen to all the brother and sisters behind the scene that have started this EG Dharma platform. It's truly beneficial to all of us. And I find myself growing bit by bit by joining this Dharma session every morning. And I truly encourage all that if you have the chance, opportunity, continue to attend the Dharma talk, because it does really help us to grow our wisdom life. Kangen.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Sister Yvonne. Can we move on to Sister Stephanie? Sister Stephanie, can we hear your sharing?
Kangen, Brother Robert, and Kangen, brothers and sisters. Honestly, I would like to hear from all the other brothers and sisters from the other countries, like Sister Ai Chu, Sister Sharon, and all that. But I would just like to say that Sister Jenny's sharing today truly reflected what Master's sermons this morning, because she listens and let the Dharma really enter her heart, and she relied upon the Dharma at the crucial moments that she's able to overcome, because she has so much deep faith in Master's Dharma. Therefore, her mind was unwavered, and she faced all the obstacles and challenges with such deep clarity, you know, and therefore she did not deviate, and she actually bounced back to become better and greater, and benefiting more and more people from her calamity. And this is truly the merits that one gains from walking the Bodhisattva path, from taking all the steps that Master has taught us in walking this path, and these are the merits that we shall gain. So truly honored to have all brothers and sisters on this platform, and just feeling so much joy and so much gratitude to everyone, and definitely infinitely always to Master. Kan Ơn.
Kan Ơn, Stephanie, for your encouragement. Yeah. Okay, maybe we can move on to our brothers and sisters from Sydney. Either Brother Robert Lim or Sister Eileen Chang or Sister Yok Hua. Are you able to share a little bit your insight to our Sydney brothers and sisters? Otherwise, we will move on to
Brother Robert. I'm Sharon here from Sydney. I probably can.
Yes, hi.
A quick sharing with you all.
Please go ahead. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah.
Just a quick update on what Sydney has been doing, and I think it's nice that we can other countries as well. Last month, a few weeks ago, actually, we have been providing food aid to the vulnerable, disadvantaged, and people at risk of being homeless in collaboration with another, with Paramattha Mission. So it's another, it's a kind of, it's a church, but they have been providing and supporting individuals or families who are disadvantaged and vulnerable. And these meal programs has been going on and they have been supplying like 150 meals to the disadvantaged people daily. So Tzu Chi in Sydney, we have the opportunity to collaborate and work together with them to provide our vegetarian meals to these people. And upon talking to their social worker and coordinator, we started off delivering a trial of 30 vegetarian meals to them. And we are very thankful to our own volunteers. I couldn't stress that enough. They have been waking up really early to start preparing the meal, because we need to deliver the meal by 10:30 a.m. in the morning. So a lot of brothers and sisters have been coming to the kitchen since 8 a.m. to help cooking, organizing, preparing, and so on. And this is happening on weekdays where, as you know, a lot of brothers sisters also have to go to work. So and some of the ingredients we even prepare the day before. So so our meals are all very nicely packed again. So like what I have been watching some of the sharing from brothers and sisters of Malaysia, and how you all pack the meals so nicely. So we also try to make our meals look really appealing to these homeless people. And we also use the compostable container, which is compostable container is really good. So help with the environment. And on top of it, we stick a Jing aphorism sticker too. So our volunteers loaded the meals onto the van, and after half an hour drive, we reached the delivery area. I'm not sure whether, sorry, asked me to start the video. I'm not sure whether I can share my screen. I actually have the PowerPoint presentation. I mean, the picture of it, if you want to have a look. I don't know whether I can put.
Sure, I think you can. You should be able to share. Are you able to share?
Yeah, just let me
share button at the bottom.
Sorry, yeah, okay. I just need to open it because I didn't know that I was going to share. Anyway, just before I open, so upon arriving there, we could see lots of people already waiting for the meals. The queue was really, really long, and it went all the way out to the main street. We pack our meals and deliver them to these vulnerable people. So let me just try one more time. I'm just so sorry. If I can open up my presentation. Not this one. So okay, never mind, because I might not be able to find it. I saved it somewhere else. Anyway, so we went back to see them the next day, and Paul is the coordinator. He expressed his feelings of gratefulness to Tzu Chi for providing the meals, and he said the food was delicious and our care and love was very much felt by many. He also told us that our help make a difference to the homeless and people at risk of being homeless. He said, with us providing the food aid to the vulnerable people affected by hunger, not only do we give them courage and strength, but most importantly, we also giving them hope. So in that sense, I just believe like we have been learning from Master, like sowing a seed of good deed into a person helps their tree come back to life, enable them to trust and have hope again. And this is what I personally feel that. So we welcome our help, so that we increase our food vegetarian use. This way help feeding the deprived. At the same time, we also help promoting our vegetarian meals. So this is just a quick sharing from Sydney here. Thank you, Kan En brothers and sisters.
Yeah, Kan En so much, sister, for sharing. Yeah, any other brothers and sisters who would like to share? Otherwise, can Sister Tzu Chi to share a bit of today's Xun Fa Xiang Master's insight.
Brother Robert, brothers and sisters on board, truly another almost heartfelt sharing today from morning Sangren Xun Fa Xiang until just now Brother JingQuan, and then we heard from Sister Kwee lan. Actually, in fact, Dharma is interweaving, it's unhindered, and it's a flow all together. It's like forming all the stories coming together with the Dharma at heart. We see that like Sister Kwee lan so powerful. Before that, that's why she find it very strange. Why now only she could hear Master's great teaching. In the past, she has not heard it. But once she has it, she was so doting, so sure. Even when she has this life at stake, like so critical, she could still be at bliss. It's like what Master mentioned, when Sutra Dharma is in our heart, it's like children, young children, lost child, finding the mother, very cold person, and then they receive the warm blanket, and then so many, the merchant finding the customers, all these verses to that. Just like that, today it's truly with Dharma, if we apply it in our heart, we have this great faith, it is truly very empowering, very powerful. And also learning that with all this and the droplets of water, we have to make sure the land is moisture, otherwise it's dry. If it's too dry, it's very difficult to plant the seed. So the reminder, the lesson learned is when we do home visits, especially the initial assessment that we are all doing now in Malaysia, especially for the one keluarga. Meeting the family first time, when we introduced the Jing Si, it's like putting the droplets of water. When they heard the Jing Si, many of them they are very touched, and they are agreeable. They are so touched, and they could transform on the spot. They even adopt the bamboo bank, and they are open to the idea of vegetarian, because when it's like the dry land, they receive this Jing Si. Jing Si is the African, our family, they say, right, each Jing Si book is like a school. So in fact, it's so powerful. So we have this powerful tool. It's like the Dharma water. We bring it to each family. We hope to share and spread the teachings, hopes that it could lighten everyone's heart. Over to you, Brother Robert.
Brother Robert, yeah. I can share quickly the slides. Now I managed to get it out now.
Sure, okay? Please come.
So
yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
Easier to see from the slide. Yeah, as you can see, just see me rather. I just do the slideshow. Yeah, so this is our food aid to the vulnerable people, and this is. Are you able to see my slides, brother? And
yes,
sister?
yes.
You
can see.
Yeah. And this is like the kitchen. Our volunteers are preparing the meals for in the morning, and this is the vegetarian meal that we made. This is rice and noodles and rice and rice and vegetables. And we also have a sticker here, the Jing Si. This is just one of the Jing Si that we stick onto the lid. And the next slide, this is us delivering the meals. You can see the word there. These are the sisters, and of course we are not allowed to take photos of the homeless people. So but the queue honestly is very long, like from the inside of the delivery center up to the street. And these are all the brothers sisters that have been helping with the preparing the meals. So this is what's going on in the last 2 weeks in Sydney, besides other things as well. Kan Ern.
Yeah, Kan so much, Sister Sharon, for your wonderful sharing. Yeah, nice photos here. Yeah. Okay, can we invite Sister Effie to share? Sister Effie. Morning, Sister Effie.
Kan Ern, brother and sisters, Kan Ern, Brother Robert. What my takeaway for today's master's sharing sermon is that we have to emulate her, to put the teachings in our daily lives to emulate to the level of Buddha's mind. Buddha's mind is about compassion and equality to all, and we have to carry out these teachings faithfully to influence more people to walk the right path and do more good deeds for society. And the important point that I got is purification of ordinary minds to a Buddha mind, to transform. There is a transformation so that we can see things clearer, and our mind will not be so limited or compacted with afflictions, to seize the moment and to just like the analogy, the stories of those recycling volunteers, even though they are elderly, they find happiness, they find the Dharma joy in bringing back this Dharma joy to their homes to inspire more and more people. Another one is another thing that Master was saying, that the Dharma is very vast and embrace everything, and it's also a wondrous. The wondrous Dharma means the innate nature. The innate nature in all of us are pure. Actually, we are all pure, so we have to use a different light to see people. Then that is listening to more Dharma teachings. That means attending the Dharma session by Master. And just now I listened to Sister Janice Kwee lan's sharing. It shows that we shouldn't waste any time. That impermanence is just is at any time to strike. So we have to really make use of our every second and minute to do good. Once we have the Dharma in us, we will feel joyous even though we face challenges every day. So it's also coincide with Master's teaching this morning that the Buddha's mind is always a beautiful land, just like we are all in the pure land. If we have the Dharma in heart and manifest that in our actions. Kan Ern, this is my little sharing.
Yeah, Kan Ern, Effie, for your wonderful sharing. Yeah, let us coming to our end of today's Xun Fa Xiang sharing. May I just like to add a bit that the Master said that we must dig this well, this eternal well of create this eternal well of Dharma in our heart. You know, this eternal Dharma water that's inside this eternal well will be able to help us to overcome all the defilement and afflictions. So even when Buddha is not around, or even one day Sangren will not be here because, so all of us must create this well, this eternal well of Dharma in our heart, so that whether physically Buddha or Sangren are not around with us, but her teachings, his teachings will be all within us, to nourish us in our daily life. Okay, Kan Ern so much, brothers and sisters, for joining us today. May we all continue to learn from each other. May we all continue to listen and accompany Dharma with masters, like what Sister Kwee lan said. The unbearable thoughts of Master, is here for us, preparing all these teachings for us to listen. I think the least that we can do is we must accompany her and you know, and learn as much, absorb as much as Dharma from her as well. Okay, Karen, so much. Okay, we'll see you again next Saturday.
I think that Sister Kwee Lan's story was very touching, and this is really like what Master said today. Today was lunar June 19th, which is Guanxin Pusa, the day of her enlightenment, attaining enlightenment. And today in the morning we were chanting, and how everybody was saying, how we were chanting, if you believe her, then all these ailments and bad things will go away. And I was still finding myself thinking, how is that possible if you just believe her? And then, you know, even though I'm on the train and rocking back and forth, you know, hearing Sister Kwee Lan's story, just basically exactly that, you know, proving everybody that, yeah, you have to believe and it will happen. And we have to believe, even though sometimes we might lose that. I think all of us, we lost a little bit sometimes, but sometimes we need to help ourselves, you know, help each other to remind that if you have that faith, it will work. You just have to have faith. And so thanks to everybody. Thanks to Brother Robert, and Sister Kwee Lan, Sister Cheng especially, to all of you. And lastly, before you go, this morning was talking about Zhen Kong Miao Yu, right? So I was thinking, you know, how Master talks about the burning of the arms. If you remember, 一切众生喜见菩萨, burning of the arms. And I really think that that meant that, you know, whatever you do, you let it go. You know, all the good things you've done, let it go. You know, you've done it, let it leave it in the past. And then it's going to come back. You know, just like Sister Cheng, she never talked about how much she did. She never talked about how much she helped people. But it all comes back, right? People don't forget that. So the arms were never burned. You let it go. But we all remember what you did. And that's the most important. You don't talk about how much you did, but everybody remember how much you did. So the arms for you were not there because you already passed that. But for all of us, your arms were always there, and you helped all of us, put all of us together. And I think that really was the spirit of not, you know, no self, but to all of us, you are there, and you were a very important part of us. Okay, so thanks to everybody. Everybody, thanks.
Okay, thank you so much.
Very important part of us because
the Brother Joe and Master of
Jing. We
Master Brother Joe.
Go to Brother Joe.
Yeah, ever. Master and Brother Joe, our Long Tao. The captain of the ship of compassion. And everyone very important. Without the passengers, there's no, I mean, we need the passengers.
Together from different countries, Sister Tzu Chi.
Yes, yeah, Sister Sharon. Very good to have you too.
Okay, Karen, brothers, sisters. Yeah, okay, maybe all. Okay, bye-bye. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.